you become numb to it in a certain way when it happens to you each and every single day, and forget again that the world around you doesn't even know that it's happening.
Imagine doing everything right to make it to your appointment on time. You woke up when your alarm went off. You left the house early and you snagged that perfect parking spot. But when you arrive at the front entrance, you can't get in because you can't access the door. No one else has that issue, just you. Now you are tasked with finding a new way inside, an accessible way. Would you make it to your appointment on time? That's the reality for millions of Americans every single day. And they're not just going to appointments. They're visiting restaurants, businesses, bathrooms, even courthouses. It's an easy fix in most cases, and one local woman is making sure you are aware. Signs. We're surrounded by them, telling us when to stop, where to walk, how to park, and where to go. Some easier to spot than others.
Well. They do have this one sign over here which we can look at, which is
about 100 feet from the front steps of St. Joseph County Courthouse 1.
Posted up on the pillar, but you have to assume by that point you're already on the complete wrong side of the block.
Emily Vorty relies on signs like this one to figure out how to get to where she's going when a main entrance isn't accessible.
The world wasn't built for people like me, I often say.
Emily is a wheelchair user.
I was born with osteogenesis imperfecta, which is a condition that causes my bones to break easily. And thus, I have used a wheelchair for most of my life. When other, kiddos were learning how to walk, I was learning how to roll in a chair.
2 hands and 4 wheels. That's all she needs to get around. But one thing her chair can't do is climb stairs. Like these in front of Courthouse 1 along South Main Street.
I had to come here not too long ago.
For traffic court.
Yeah.
A quick errand.
Very simple.
That turned into an unsolicited scavenger hunt for an accessible way to get into the building.
Nowhere on the website does it mention anything about accessibility or like what entrance to go to.
They've got other information like general parking, the address, how to get there, but no directions on how to get inside the courthouse if you can't go up the stairs.
Any information is better than no information at all.
Which brings us back to that sign posted up on the pillar,
which has handicap access to County City Building and courthouses located at the west doors of the County City Building.
Here's a quick layout of what the area looks like. St. Joseph County has 3 courthouses all in one square block in downtown South Bend. Courthouse 1 handles things like child support cases and traffic court. Courthouse 2 is the oldest of the 3, the main location for small claims court. And Courthouse 3 is for felony cases.
So right now, we're at the easternmost part of the block. Again, furthest away as you can get just about from the west doors of the County City Building. So at this point, we would continue on.
Emily's next clue is a little out of reach. Here, high above her head, is this sign with an arrow to West Jefferson Boulevard.
Southeast corner of Main and Jefferson. Again, going around. It's a relatively large block.
It's a detour.
Certainly tiring.
A significant detour.
The fact that we're not even in the building yet, let alone where we need to be in the courthouse.
As Emily turns off West Jefferson onto South Lafayette Boulevard, she has now traveled nearly 2 whole blocks. Once inside the County City Building,
hi there.
Emily wheels through security.
Great.
With no clear sign of where to go next,
the elevator's here.
She hopes this is pointing her in the right direction.
You coming?
Near those elevators, a possible clue.
The sign says for handicap assistance for entry to Courthouse 3, please consult the building security team.
But it says nothing about Courthouse 1, the building Emily is trying to get into.
Oh wait, am I getting this mixed up? We'll try this. So I'm reading the sign in the elevator, no cell phones allowed in the basement entrance to the courts.
A sign she's heading in the right direction.
So
at the end of this long tunnel, Emily is greeted by another security guard.
Where are you guys from?
Finally, more than 10 minutes later, Emily arrives at the accessible entrance to Courthouse 1, but not 2 or 3. The guard telling her you can't get to those buildings from this location. But that's not what the sign says that's posted up on that pillar along South Main Street, or this same sign that's posted along Lafayette, both claiming handicap access to courthouses located at the west doors of the county city building.
No ramp over there. So you can have the best, intentions, even be, on time, you've done your research, and you still arrive and you're getting conflicting information about where and how to enter the space.
Turns out, if Emily wants to access courthouses 2 or 3, she has to go all the way back to where she started, opposite of the county city building, near the front steps of Courthouse 1. You'll notice next to that sign on the pillar is a ramp leading to Courthouse 3 and continuing to Courthouse 2.
Is this surprising?
No, I hate to say it is not surprising. This represents something that I often call access fatigue.
Each time you have to go through one of these hoops, you're giving out a spoon, and you only have so many spoons. And at the end of the day, you don't have it in you anymore.
Sam Adams is a senior attorney with Indiana Disability Rights.
I think for most people, a need for an accessibility isn't a question of if it will ever be necessary, but when it will be necessary.
His cases usually involve government services or public accommodation.
I would say having to go through a labyrinth in another building 2 blocks away is not going to be as accessible. It's not going to be as usable to people with disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's a hassle. It's out of the way, and it's extremely inconvenient compared to someone who can use the stairs. But Adams says Courthouse 1 is in compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Different standards that buildings on historic registries are held to under the ADA.
And this place is listed in both the state and national register.
They are very relaxed standards. They're very minimal.
The main ones: an accessible entrance with an accessible route.
One thing it does not talk about, though, is the length of the route.
I was getting extremely frustrated for you today.
Sure.
How do you stay so positive about all of this?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think
Emily has her moments. Some days the bitterness just boils over. Other days, she's numb to it.
it's a great question. I think I stay positive by focusing on the ways in which I can raise those inequities and provide education.
And she does that through her Instagram account.
Introducing Is It Accessible? A series where I assess whether spaces, processes, and experiences are accessible to me, a wheelchair user. Not in a way that seeks to slap anybody on the wrist, but that just raises awareness and shines a light on the thoughtless, we'll say, design.
Clear communication. That's what Emily says St. Joseph County is lacking. A quick fix, adding a link to their website addressing courthouse accessibility for those with mobility disabilities, and better signs with accurate information.
To hope that even in small ways, people begin to understand and know that they can never again say, oh, I didn't know. You didn't know then, but you know now. So, it's your obligation to do a better job.
Commission President Carl Baxmeyer tells me they're in the process of getting new physical signs showing accessible routes to each courthouse, but he said no word yet on when those will be posted. And one thing that did surprise him when I told him that there is no information on their website that shows any handicap accessibility into the building. You will notice, though, at the bottom of their website, there is an accessibility link, but that is website accessibility. It has nothing to do with physical accessibility.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
You also mentioned that some of the courtrooms themselves inside Courthouse 1 have accessibility issues. What did you find there?
Yeah, so I spoke to a woman, Joanne Slomsky. She is also a chair user. She told me she was called up to the witness stand as part of a case. And when she got to the stand, there was a step. And she looked at the judge, and she didn't know what to do. She was confused. The judge was also confused. So they told her to just go in front of the box. She told me that she felt awkward. She felt like she wasn't fully human. She was literally put on the stand there. She felt like she was in the spotlight. And it just goes to show that it's inhumane. It doesn't make people feel like they're part of everything. And if Carl told me that if they ever do renovations to Courthouse 1, that is something that they will get fixed if they ever do renovations.
But it is a national historic building, so they have looser regulations. I had no idea. Brianna, thank you.
Yes.
A very important investigation. We appreciate it.
Yes, very eye-opening.